Luis Garavito. Luis Garavito, infamously known as La Bestia, the Beast, is considered one of the most prolific serial killers in history. Born on January 25, 1957, in Colombia, Garavito's early life was marred by abuse, poverty, and neglect, which may have shaped his future as a predator. From the early 1990s until his capture in 1999, Garavito embarked on a horrifying spree across Colombia, Ecuador, and possibly other countries, targeting vulnerable boys aged between 6 and 16. Modus operandi. Garavito employed a variety of disguises, pretending to be a monk, a farmer, or a street vendor, to gain the trust of his young victims. He lured them with promises of money, gifts, or work, often leading them to remote areas where he would subject them to unimaginable torture, sexual assault, and finally murder. After the killings, he would mutilate the bodies, a pattern that helped investigators eventually link the crimes to a single perpetrator. Capture and confession. Garavito was arrested in 1999 after a massive investigation was launched in response to the discovery of numerous mass graves containing the remains of young boys. Once in custody, Garavito confessed to the murders of 147 boys, although the actual number of his victims is believed to be much higher, possibly over 300. His confessions led authorities to more burial sites, revealing the full extent of his crimes. Despite the overwhelming evidence and his confessions, Garavito was sentenced to just 40 years in prison due to Colombian law at the time, which capped sentences for murder. His sentence was later reduced to 22 years due to his cooperation with the police and good behavior, a fact that has sparked outrage both within Colombia and internationally. There has been ongoing debate over whether he should be released, given the scale of his crimes. Legacy. Luis Garavito's case remains one of the most shocking and disturbing in the annals of criminal history. His crimes not only highlighted the vulnerability of children in impoverished areas but also exposed the inadequacies of the Colombian criminal justice system in dealing with such extreme cases. The legacy of La Bestia continues to cast a long shadow over Colombia, serving as a grim reminder of the horrors that can occur when predators are allowed to prey on the most defenseless members of society. Garavito's case has led to calls for changes in the law to ensure that such heinous criminals are never allowed to re-enter society. His name has become synonymous with evil, and his story continues to be a subject of study for criminologists, psychologists, and law enforcement agencies around the world.